Suzuki is the main villain in the famous anime and manga Mob Psycho 100, animated by Bones. Suzuki is a character that was coincidentally born in the same city as Mob, Seasoning City, and with the same Esper powers as Mob. But unlike Mob, Suzuki used his powers to get an upper hand in life. He didn't care who he had to hurt, he didn't care who he had to step on. Suzuki lived his life smoothly. Everything he did worked in his favor, and he never regretted anything or looked back once on any of his decisions. At Mob's age, Suzuki beat everyone at everything. Unlike Mob, he used his powers as an advantage. He didn't care if it was unfair, as long as he got what he wanted. And he did, in fact, get what he wanted. That's what makes his character so interesting. It's like, what if Mob uses powers just to be, like, better than everyone, you know? And that's what Suzuki is. And that's what makes him so cool. He's definitely one of my favorites. Like, I don't know what it is. He's just so fucking cool. Except, like, the beating kids part. Through Suzuki's whole life, he didn't feel any sympathy for other people. Hell, he didn't even care about his family. Suzuki traveled the world storing power for his plan at world domination. I wonder how he did that. He like killed them. Like it reminds me of like Mogami. He just sucked all the ghost up, but I wonder what fucking Suzaku did. He, like the 20 years of power and he was still able to like not look all fucked up. That just scared. That just shows how strong he actually was. Because if you guys remember in the last video, Morgami, he looked all fucked up when he was absorbing all those fucking spirits and shit. He looked like he was straight off of meth or like coke or some shit like that. Somewhere on the line, Suzaku created a criminal organization called the Claw. Suzaku returned to his hometown to start his world domination plan after his 7th division got demolished. He has zero feelings for his hometown. He doesn't even remember his childhood there, so he destroys his hometown with like no remorse. Suzuki has the ability to share his powers with the 700 people in his organization, which is fucking crazy. He's great at manipulating people as shown with Serizawa when he convinced him to join Claw even though that's completely against his morals. Suzuki fought and inevitably lost to Mob. People have this misconception that this was the first time he lost, but that is not the case. The actual first time Suzaku lost was in his flashback.
Goodbye.
What happened? When did I?
His wife leaves him and disappears, and for the first time in his life, Suzaku's power didn't make someone believe in him. In fact, it did the opposite. It made them upset at him. I know I said he always gets what he wants, but this time that is not the case. As we see, he dwells on that a lot. He even regrets it. Throughout the whole show, he never had intentions to kill his son. That shows that he actually does care somewhat for him. Yeah, he beat him up and shit, but come on, it was pranks. Pranks!
Dad, no!
Stay up.
He tells his son that he's sorry that he's not able to see his mother anymore because of his actions, but to his surprise, his son has been in contact with his mom. Suzaku holds his hand like Mob did previously and says,
People need other people. Huh.
I actually rewatched Mob and I don't see why people don't talk about him a lot. He's so fucking cool. Suzaku just like carried the second season. He just to the point where I was just waiting to see Mob fight him. Because whenever he like blasted Regan straight in the fucking face and Mob got all mad, which triggered, you know, like it triggered Mob into like the question mark form.
Those who don't understand the feelings of others. What's the point? Some people have to learn the hard way.
Or I don't know if he was in question mark form, but he was like beating his ass and shit, and he was like, I could use all my power and all my rage, and he was like fucking him up. I was like, oh my god, that shit got me hyped. I was low-key squilling. I should start reacting to videos on it. Comment below if you guys want to see that. In Mob, they always have people do this compelling thing where they're not only fighting an outside battle, but also like an inside battle. Like, I made a video about that with Mob, but the same thing's happening with this character. They're literally like polar opposites. Suzaku's mind is just so fucked up, but at the same time, with all this ego and all this going on, he still cared about his family at the end of the day. He was still thinking about them, and he was still just like dwelling on the past. You could tell he really did care about his wife, because whenever he saw her walk out, he was like, what? Someone actually walked out on me in my life? But I have power. And I think in that moment, he actually didn't realize that power wasn't everything. And also because Mob, you know, beat his ass. And that's where our story ends for Zaku. Unless... Spoiler warning! Alert, alert, alert! No, no. Now that we're here, I'm giving you guys another warning. This is going to be spoilers. We're getting to the manga a little bit. Suzaku does get redemption, and it honestly breaks my heart how he tried to save his own son by giving up his own life or health. If I may remind you, this is the same guy who's only lived his entire life for himself, and at this time, he's going against, like, question mark Mob, and he has no power. All of his power was drained, so he's just like a normal-ass guy. But even then, he still loved his son to the point where he would die for him. I shed a fucking tear. I don't want to go too in depth. I didn't go too deep in the manga because, you know, I don't want to get it completely spoiled for me. The animation is gonna be sick. And if anybody wants to like draw me a profile picture, it could even be on paint. I don't really care. But yeah, that's gonna be the video. Like and subscribe and watch this video if you want to see a psychic that turned evil.